You ever heard of that movie, The Lawnmower Man? It was about a guy named Job that had some learning disabilities and ended up starting to learn and get better educated through virtual reality. It was an early 90s movie. It happened a long time ago, and it's really dated now when you look back at it. But he got trapped in the virtual reality world, like another dimension, and it turned out to be kind of like a suspenseful thriller sci-fi movie. It was pretty good for its time. Anyway, when I think about dark web stuff and other dimensions, kind of like these stories that we react to from Dr. Nosleep, kind of reminds me of that. We got a good one today, guys. Make sure to subscribe to Dr. Nosleep and me if you like reaction videos, and let's get into this one.
I've been awake for the past 48 hours, trying to get out of this
48 hours?
How I ended up in a situation where death might be the only feasible option, I still don't fully understand.
You just gotta sleep or you will die.
That it started with a message I received
rough.
while browsing the deep web.
Okay.
Please, God, help me, the message read.
Just
My
a
first
DM.
instinct was to ignore the message, thinking it was the beginning of some kind of cheap scam. But
Right.
then the second message came through. Look, I know you're reading this. I'm not trying to trick you into giving me anything, but I'm
course, that's
begging
what they
you,
all say.
please just give me a minute and listen to what I have to say. You would literally be saving my life. I'd never fallen for a
Alright.
scam before, but I had to admit,
I've
the
fallen for
stranger
quite a
had me
few.
curious, and just giving them a
I'm
moment
just
of my
too
time
curious.
would probably be more interesting than the aimless browsing.
Just
I
don't
had
click any
planned.
links, okay?
All right, what's up? Thank that you responded, the stranger said. Well, I have some time. How am I supposed to help you, though? I asked, rather sarcastically. My name is Benjamin Nelson, and this is probably the last night of my life. I just need to tell you my story. I need someone to know what happened to me. I
All
still
right.
didn't buy his story,
No.
but I had to admit, it intrigued me.
It's compelling.
I'll listen.
Yeah.
Just tell me whatever you need to say. Is there anyone I should send it to later, or what? I asked. No, I just need someone to know, he said.
All right.
All right, let's hear
Let's
it.
hear it.
I cracked open another beer and leaned back in my chair as I awaited the next message.
48 hours.
Do you
though,
remember
man?
those old warnings in the
You go to
YouTube
sleep.
comments back in 2008 or so? He asked.
Like
You
what?
mean those repost this comment to 7 other videos or you'll die kind
Oh,
of deals?
like chain
I asked
letters.
them. Exactly. I always used to ignore them. I was just a kid back then, but even I was clever enough to see past their ruse. I don't even remember what they were trying to achieve. Maybe they were just trolls, or maybe they wanted to make something go viral. Whatever their deal, I didn't once repost a comment,
Right.
Benjamin said.
So what
I
happened?
wasn't entirely sure where he was going with the story, but it did awake a bizarre sense of nostalgia, seeing kids freak out and cry as they debated whether or not the threats were real. These were just simpler times, where
Yeah.
YouTube was full of funny videos without ads, and without
Cats.
channels sponsored by
Cat
literally
videos.
entire countries. It was harmless fun, but I'd honestly forgotten the existence of these kinds of things. But 2 days ago, I saw another. That time, however, it was on a forum on the dark web.
All
I
right.
can't even remember the name of the
It's
site.
even less
It was some
likely
generic conspiracy
for me
page,
to
but the
comment on
message
it.
brought back some funny memories.
Okay.
At that point, I was absolutely certain that he was pulling a prank on me.
Yeah.
But I was enjoying the story nonetheless.
Okay.
What did the message say? I asked. There comes a time in every person's life where a choice between self and stranger must be made. I am weak, but you might be strong. Do not look behind you, I beg you, because he is already there and getting closer. Don't look behind you. Despite the poem not being particularly scary,
Right.
an eerie sense of dread had started to build up in my chest.
Okay.
One I couldn't just shake off. That's it? I asked. There was more, but I can't exactly remember how it ended. I'm sure you think I'm crazy, and honestly, I have no real proof that I'm about to die, but I've been awake for almost 3 days, and I haven't once looked behind me. I know he's standing there, and if I turn to look at him, I'm going to die,
What?
he said. His
Why
story
wouldn't he
was
just kill
starting
you
to
by
sound
not looking at
ridiculous. I wanted to laugh,
You've been
but I
up
still
for 2
felt
days,
weirdly
though.
worried about my own safety.
Right.
It
'cause
was a
you've been up for
feeling of
2
impending
days.
doom that seemingly had
That's
no
not
origin
good.
nor made any sense.
That's
How
not
do you know
good.
he's there if you haven't turned around to look at him? Was the only thing I could think to ask. Does he make a noise or something? He paused for a moment, presumably contemplating how to keep the charade going. I just know. I can't explain it. But from the moment I read that message, something inside my room just changed. I was never a superstitious kind of guy, but I know he's there. I can feel him standing behind
So,
me, he said. That
some of what
honestly
he's
doesn't make your
saying
story any more believable.
is
I typed in
actually
with trembling
mimicking
fingers.
how
I held my hand up in front of myself.
the person is
I was
feeling,
nervous. My entire body riddled with panic for reasons I couldn't understand.
right? Except for
The
what this
safety
guy
of
was
my
telling
room
you.
had somehow been breached, but I didn't
Mhm.
know what had caused the sudden change in atmosphere. I wanted to turn around to make sure nothing had gotten inside, but an unseen aura
So is it a
compelled
hacker,
me to keep my
or-
eyes fixed on the screen. My body was too afraid to follow logical instructions, rendering me trapped in my chair. If you haven't seen or heard it, you can't really know if it's real, I typed in with fading
He's gonna start.
confidence.
Why don't you just
Well,
turn around and
let
look?
me ask you this. How do you know that you feel sad, afraid, or lonely? It's not necessarily something you can observe, but you know the feelings are true.
Right.
The feeling can't be measured, yet you believe them. You experience them.
It's
I can
true.
feel his presence. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
That feeling of being observed wasn't unknown to me,
Right.
but I'd always written it off as paranoia.
A lot of people
Baseless
say that
emotion
you can feel it.
coming from scary movies or
It's
stories
hard
online.
To, it's hard to.
I was
to
sitting
know
uncomfortably
if I've
in
ever
my chair,
Felt it for sure.
desperately wanting to end the conversation. So what do you want me to do? I asked. I can't help you from here. You already are helping me, he said. You've been listening to my story, which was my last wish. What now then? I asked, still not brave enough to just leave.
Right.
What's your name? He asked. Why does that matter? I asked back. I'd like to know the name of my savior. That last sentence, though meant as praise, sounded all too malicious. I couldn't hear his voice, nor could I see the expression on his face. Yet I just knew something terrible
So
was
did
about
he
to
kind of
happen.
like transfer the
I'm
burden?
Daryl, I typed back. Thank you, Daryl. For what? I asked back. For saving my life. But I didn't do anything. My room was starting to feel darker. The temperature had suddenly dropped drastically. I wanted to leave, but I was too afraid to just turn around and confirm that the room was in fact empty. I felt watched, trapped. What had Benjamin done to me?
It's kind of like
I'm assuming
Benjamin
you
was
still
feeling.
haven't looked behind you, he asked. What have you done? I asked. I was entirely honest with you, Daryl. I do remember the last part of the poem. Care to hear it? He went on, ignoring my question. Benjamin, what did you do? He started typing, not to answer the question, but to finish the poem he'd sent me earlier. Because that's all he needs, to be seen, to be feared, to destroy your soul. Your death shall come at his hand, but you still have hope. Just make him lose interest, find him a new victim, or be selfless and die.
Wow.
Though my logical brain didn't believe it, my entire body had gone into panic. My flight or fight mode was going into overdrive, and no matter how much I tried to deny it, I knew I was no longer alone in my room.
Bruh.
I'm sorry, Daryl. I really am. I didn't want to hurt anyone, but I don't want to die. But you still have a chance. Just find the monster,
another victim?
Tell the
Oh,
story. Pass it
God.
on to someone else. If we just keep passing it on, no one has to die.
Wow.
Then I'll pass it back on to you, I said, a hint of anger penetrating through the utter fear. It doesn't work like that. How do you know? I asked, knowing he couldn't possibly have tracked down the poster of the original comic.
Sure.
Because it's not here anymore. Even if I wanted to take it back, it's not gonna come. Pass it on, Daryl. Don't die out of stubbornness.
Wow.
That was the last message I got from Benjamin before
Okay.
he signed out. I tried to reestablish contact with him, but it was a futile
Not
task.
happening.
I was trapped in my chair, not allowed to look behind me, but I knew the creature was still standing
You
there.
already had
I could just
slept
about
the-
make
Oh,
out its
he
outline
does
in the
have a
reflection
creature
of my
there.
dimmed computer screen. It showed a lanky but massive creature in
In
the
his
corner of the
computer
room,
screen, he could
though
see
I
the
couldn't make out
reflection.
any proper details. I knew then, without a shadow of a doubt, that it was all real.
So you
I
gotta find a
started
victim
reposting
now.
the poem all around the dark web,
Yeah.
praying for someone to read it and join my chat.
You better put that
Sent
thing
out
on
hundreds
Twitter
of messages
and on
begging for
Discord.
help, but
Join
no
my
one was
Discord, by
stupid
the way,
enough to
guys.
fall
Link in
for
the
it.
description.
No one except for myself. So here I am, 2 days after I first spoke to Benjamin. I don't have any friends or family in the
Oh, I
vicinity
see.
to come to my
So he
rescue.
wasn't
Maybe that's
sleepy
why I
when
was
he
the
first
perfect
talked to
victim.
him.
I don't know. You guys are my last hope. You've already heard the message, and now you know my story. I'm sorry that it had to be one of you, but I'm not
No.
ready to die yet. Don't worry, though. I'm guessing
love
about
how they
50,000
spin it
people will
around.
see this within the first day, and only one of you will be chosen. I'll leave you with
Mm-hmm.
this. If you're suddenly feeling watched, if the hairs on your arms are standing up and you don't know why, just don't look behind you.
We okay, guys?
Thanks for
We
watching.
okay.
And don't forget
we
to
okay.
check out
and
the
let me
Dr.
just check, just to prove to y'all that I'm not scared. That's a green screen right there, but I know nothing's back there. This is a good story. I like the way it went down, guys. Dr. Nosleep, y'all. Make sure to subscribe to him, as well as me if you like reaction videos. And check these out. I think you'll love them. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.